City calls Officer Corrigan.
Officer Corrigan.
My name is Officer Jan Corrigan.
And
Last name spelled Corrigan.
thank you, Officer. On February 4th, 2014, were you dispatched to a McDonald's restaurant in the city of Waukesha?
Yes, it was.
And is that the one on Southwest Avenue?
Yes, it is.
Can you tell the court why you were dispatched there?
I was dispatched there for a disorderly conduct complaint.
And what were you informed with respect to this complaint?
When I arrived on scene, I believe I met with all the parties involved, Mr. Calderon, Ms. Torres, Mr. Mattis, and Mr. Peters, and there's a lot of people telling me a lot of different things at the time. But essentially what everyone told me was that there's an older gentleman who walked by Ms. Torres and Mr. Mattis's daughter at the time, and he was videotaping him. Then Mr. Calderon confronted him. They got in a verbal altercation. There's a lot of yelling and swearing in the restaurant. And then the Mr. LaHote subject, who is later identified, left.
Okay. When you spoke to Mr. Calderon, did he admit participation in this altercation?
He did, yes.
Did you say that Ms. Torres is the one who provided you with the license plate?
Ms. Torres did provide me with the license plate number of Mr. LaHote's vehicle.
Okay. As far as you can recall, do their testimonies, are they consistent with what they informed you on the date that you arrived there on February 4th?
Yes, it is.
Did you then conduct any further investigation with respect to this matter?
I sent Jefferson County Sheriff's Department to the listed residence for Mr. LaHote based off of the license plate numbers, and they attempted to contact him.
Did Mr. Calderon give you a reason for his actions on that date?
I'm going to interrupt at this point. That would be hearsay, number one. And number two, really, quite frankly, the testimony of all the witnesses here, to the extent that they are fairly consistent. There don't appear to be any real significant contradictions in the testimony of any of the witnesses that would require either impeachment or rehabilitation at this point.
Okay.
So that would be hearsay, and
Thank you, Judge.
I don't think he has anything material to add. Unless he does, we probably can move on.
Just for the sake of completeness, Officer Corrigan, did you ever meet with the defendant, Mr. Gary LaHote?
No, I've never met Mr. LaHote before in my life.
Okay. That's it, Your Honor, then.
Thank you. Mr. Lote, any questions for the officer?
Thank you. How many officers responded?
That's not relevant, sir, so I'm not going to allow the answer. We're getting late and it's far afield.
How many witnesses were in the restaurant?
Also not going to be permitted.
Okay.
Once again, witness is a term that is vague, ambiguous, and irrelevant at this point.
Okay. Thank you. According to your police report, you obtained the security cameras from Mr. Peters.
Yes, I did.
Did you review the security cameras?
The footage, yes.
What did you see?
I saw two gentlemen.
One second. We have the video.
Yeah.
Let's see the video.
Thank you. Now I'm going to finish my question.
Go ahead.
Thank you.
However, I'm not going to allow him to answer that question about what he saw in the video. If we have the video, that's the best evidence. So it's what I see in the video, since that's the better evidence. If his recollection of what he sees is a better evidence, then we'll hear it later. But right now, if we have the tape, you know, why talk about the copy when we have the original?
I guess, but where I was going with this is I was going to ask the officer, do you recall reviewing the video?
I reviewed the video, yes.
And he's going to have to watch that video to testify if it's the same one. So let's see the video.
And that's where I'm going with that.
Great. Let's do it. Can we get the video
Well,
queued
the
up?
city was not going to play the
Court
video.
will order it to be
I understand.
turned over and played.
I understand, Your Honor,
Thank you.
but honestly, whether or not I can actually get this to work, I'm not quite sure now. But I will put it in unless Mr. LaHote would like to put it in whatever electronic device he may have, because obviously he knows electronics better than I do.
I don't have a problem with that, Your Honor, other than
Good.
the fact that I'm not hooked up to your monitor.
System, I understand that.
I mean, I would plug it in, and I believe me, I've been dying to see that for a long time. I would not only put it in my machine, I'd be straight up, I'd copy that baby. In fact, I'd love to copy it
All
right
right,
now.
so do we have an extra
I'll
laptop
put it in my
around here?
machine, I'll make a copy of it.
We can hook it up through here? Oh, then let's do it.
Detective Carpenter would be the electronics expert here.
I seem to remember at the time I attempted to play it, I had difficulty seeing anything. And the reason Mr. LaHote was not provided with this is because Mr. LaHote chose not to pay for the DVD. Detective Carpenter tells me you have to install the clip player that's on the disc.
That's what we've tried to do. But if Detective Carpenter has some special expertise here on this, what happens often in these cases is when you get video from outside sources, they do not have uniform compatibility and sometimes have proprietary software to play. Okay. Sure. You know what, Mr. Peters, you may know how to operate this better than anyone else. Why don't you come up here? Ah, we've got it, maybe. Otherwise, Mr. Peters is free to go.
Is it? Okay, where's the timestamp on it?
Said 3:54, so I'd imagine about 3:45, so.
Down here? You're 3:46 right now. Okay, so then how would we make the picture for the dining room bigger?
So we're at 3:54 and something.
I think it's concluded already.
Okay. We'll stop the tape at this point, or the video. I've seen it. Okay, Mr. Lote.
Officer,
Yes.
is this the video that you saw?
Yes, it is the video that I saw.
At what point were you able to determine that a crime was committed?
Whoa. He doesn't get to answer that question.
Okay.
That's for me to decide, and there's no crime because you're charged with a civil forfeiture at this point. So that will be a determination
I'll
for the
rephrase.
court. The officer isn't the one making an accusation here. He's just laying the foundation for having been the person to obtain the video.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
According to your police report, you state that I should be arrested.
Yes.
At what point did you determine that I needed to be arrested viewing this video?
Irrelevant, not going to be answered.
Okay. What did you base your statement on?
Same thing. Move on.
Do you believe I should be arrested today?
Move on.
Okay. What were you able to determine from viewing the video?
Same thing. The court saw the video Whatever the officer may have determined from the video is superseded by here. So
Okay.
any questions about that are not going to be allowed.
I just reviewed the police officer's report,
That's fine, sir.
and
Move on.
in the report, he states that I should be arrested. I'm asking him. from
Yes, but
looking
that's
at
not
the-
relevant to the issue of your guilt or innocence in court here today, so it's not going to be allowed. If you don't have another relevant question, I'm going to excuse the witness.
I'll try a little different way. How's that? And I'll try to be a little bit more to the point. At what point did you believe that I was the offending party?
Same thing.
Okay.
His belief in this, none of that is going to be allowed.
Okay.
He, you know, at this point, he didn't witness the incident himself, so at that point, since he is not a witness to the actual event, we've had cumulative, exhaustive testimony from people who were witnesses, and we've yet to hear from you. But we did allow the tape to come in, the video, because you felt it was important to see it. I felt it was important for you to see it. But the officer's opinion as to the video isn't worth a hill of beans today.
I'm just going by what on the police report. He
Right,
just
and
clearly
I'm going by
states,
the rules of evidence, and so at
he
this
just
point,
clearly
you're
states
shut
that
down.
I need to be arrested.
Right, you're shut down on that
And
point.
I'm just trying to, looking at the video, I'm trying to
I
figure out
understand,
how
I
did
understand
the
your
officer
concern,
come
sir,
to
but
that
it's not
conclusion?
relevant, and that's it. We're not gonna proceed with that line of questioning.
I was just wondering how he came to that conclusion.
You've
Based on the
made your
police
point,
report.
sir.
Okay.
Mr. Lote.
No further questions.
All right. I certainly want to give you the latitude to present relevant evidence, and I don't take lightly gaveling someone down, but I've given you several warnings, and you were beginning to come an inch away from being found in contempt. So please, I want you to be able to testify. I want you to be able to tell your side of the story. I know you've been anxious to do that. And we were anxious to see the video, and the video speaks more than the officer's opinion. So the officer, if you don't have another relevant question, may step down. You've indicated no further questions, and so we are concluded on that. Officer, thank you.
Thank you.